Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for your time and collaboration. I really want to know more about you as a person and as a professional. I know that you are the co-founder of the Preacher Committee Students Voice team. You have led several initiatives and now you have become a National Geographic Fellow. So please tell us more about you.
Absolutely. I'm really happy to have this conversation with you, Jesus. I first got involved in education advocacy as a high school student when I began to notice that if you looked like me or if you were low income, that you were not receiving the same quality education as if you had money or came from the dominant community. And so a group of friends and I started the Pritchard Committee Student Voice Team as a way not only to fight for education justice in my home state of Kentucky, but also as a way to integrate young people into that fight. Young people spend 35 hours a week in a classroom, if not more. We have the most to lose when that classroom doesn't work. And I've seen firsthand the power that education can have in opening up opportunities for people and changing people's lives. And so we were really focused on how can we bring other young people into the fight for more kind of fair and equitable schools in Kentucky. And it's been a absolute whirlwind. I think one of the things that we've done that we've been able to accomplish in Kentucky is kind of change the culture around how people view young folks. I think that there is this kind of more conservative culture that was like young people should be seen and not heard, and that young people can't really do anything meaningful until they're older. But what we've found from organizing to research to storytelling is that young people can have a profound impact on the systems and institutions around them if we're willing to kind of use our voices and stand up for what we believe in. So I've been engaged in that work supporting education justice movements for over 8 years now. And I continue to do that as an education fellow and explorer with National Geographic.
So what do you think is important to support children to pursue education?
Education opens so many doors. My dad was the first in his family to graduate from college, and then he eventually graduated from law school. And just seeing what education did for him and our family, I think is what kind of first motivated me to be really focused on making sure everyone had that opportunity.
Mhm.
Education is the key to understanding the world around you, which is a prerequisite to changing the world. And so if you don't like your current situation, if you think that there's something wrong in your community, if you think that you want something more out of life than what seems to be available to you now, the way to access that is through education. And so, it's important to take advantage of every opportunity that you can to educate yourself. And when you see injustice in your community, for example, where some people don't have access to that education, it's our duty to make sure that everyone can have that access, because it's the key to being able to have agency over your life, being able to make decisions for yourself rather than having to have other people or other systems make decisions for you.
You are absolutely right. So what does it mean for you to be an agent of change?
I just used that word agency earlier, and being an agent of change is really along the same lines. I mean, look, young people from the Little Rock Nine in the United States to the Velvet Revolution in Europe to the Hong Kong protests that happened earlier this year, young people throughout the world and throughout history have been on the forefront of social change and social movements. Really what it means to be an agent of change is to say, to to identify a problem in your community and
Mhm.
say to yourself, this is not a problem that someone else is going to solve. This is a problem that I have a responsibility to solve. And taking that ownership, taking that responsibility over your community, the people in your life, that's really what it means. And I always tell people, young people are essential problem solvers, right? I think it was Bobby Kennedy said in a speech to a group of young people in South Africa in the midst of the apartheid that this world demands the qualities of youth. And when he said that, he wasn't talking about the qualities of youth as in a time of life, like an age. He was talking about the things that young people bring to the table that are unique. Our imagination, our urgency, our ability to use technology and to be on the cutting edge. I mean, young people see the world differently than older people do, frankly. And so, we can bring a really meaningful, we can bring a really meaningful component to, any kind of social movement or change. And the last thing I'll say on this is, we are rapidly reaching a point where 50+% of the world's population is under the age of 25. And so any issue, any problem facing this planet requires the involvement of young people if it's going to be solved. And so we are key stakeholders, and we need to do our part to solve these problems.
Students have a very unique perspective. So how educators can support students to become agents of change?
I have always emphasized in my work the value of youth-adult partnerships and intergenerational solidarity. The fact of the matter is, young people know a lot and we're capable of a lot, but we can't do everything on our own. And the most powerful examples of youth activism that I've seen have been supported by adults who are willing to lend their expertise and also the privilege that they have as being adults and, taken more seriously by other adults to support students. So, whenever possible, adults should be elevating the young people in their lives, validating their experiences, and working to give them access to rooms and places where decisions are being made. I think that partnership between young people and adults is really the sweet spot when it comes to making effective change.
So now it's time to take action, and your journey is so inspiring. So I'm really sure that who is listening this interview will be inspired to take action in the community. So thank you so much for your time and your work, Andrew.
Thank you, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. I can't wait to see what you all are able to accomplish in your time.